still being a virgin has made a relationship tougher for me. My boyfriend, babe, it's not as if you will not see this virgin. I'm not ready for this.
Do all virgins think the same? These 6 virgins will be tested with a series of difficult questions, and they will be presented with a spectrum of options to choose from.
Guys are not really that complicated. As long as you have sex education, I feel like you're fine.
I don't know where you had sex education that was very detailed. You feel like you will be experienced.
No matter who you're with, you need to learn on the job.
You can't say guys are not complicated just because they have one thing and you just feel like, oh, it just comes up and we've all been in that situation where your maths teacher, they write, you be like, I understand this thing now. You enter exam hall, you're like, yeah, I've not seen this thing in my life.
I'm a party person. I go to club, I go to lounge. So when you see me at a club drinking, they feel like, no, you can't tell me you're a virgin.
If you feel like, I want to self-preserve, but a little hand job here and there never hurt nobody. No, there are loopholes in your rule book. So if you can cross this line, why can't you get to this line?
When your friends are saying something and they feel like, you can't relate, then you be like, I'm a virgin, girl. It's just like a way of giving me confidence.
Some people's virginities were taken from them.
Exactly.
So they did not have the choice. So in that situation, are they supposed to feel inferior?
How would they confront their different point of view? I feel like when I eventually engage in sex, I'll be inexperienced because I am a virgin.
Strongly disagree because, like I said, sex education, guys don't require too much, honestly. If we're being quite honest, I've done research, articles, I like knowledge. Even with what I have understood, it's not that hard. Guys are not that hard. Know a few things, 1 or 2, and you're good. Women, on the other hand, the same way the female reproductive system is quite complicated. Same thing, having relations with a girl is quite complicated. That's the edge a female virgin has to, I guess, a male virgin.
I slightly disagree because sex education, they are going to tell you the theory, they teach you, they make sure you understand it and ask questions. I've witnessed cases that virgins married for 6 years, no child, not knowing that the woman is still a virgin. They kept having sex, but the guy did not penetrate. Sex education, lack of sex, for 6 years. Yes.
But you feel like you will be experienced.
No, I don't feel like I'll be experienced. But you learn on the job. That's what they say.
No matter who you're with, you need to learn on the job.
My name is Shefumi Judith. I do audits, corporate girly. I chose to remain a virgin because of my Christian faith. It is that simple. The way I understood the prompt was, would I be experienced enough? I may have experience, to be honest. We know these things, we've seen these things. But bringing it on, I don't want to come and be raising shoulder and say that I know everything or I'm a bad guy like that. Or then what the partner's expectations or preferences are. Obviously, you cannot even tell upfront. Sometimes some people can talk the talk, but when they get there, they're not all that.
I chose agree because I have seasoned friends, so I'm not ignorant to the practices and activities and procedures that must go on. But then I also agree at that point, as per when the shindig is about to go down. I will be thinking and thinking. I'm personally somebody who likes to hold on to my sense very well and my rationality. I might actually need to be maybe under the influence of something for the thing to just go and pass me by. That is how, maybe in my mind, there's slight fear. It's not supposed to be like that because I've also been told that sex can be a very beautiful thing. There's not enough reading that you can do. And as you're learning on the job, you too also have to have lines that you will not cross as you're learning on the job. You can have Prince Charming, but he wants to do 50 Shades. So you need to know where you are drawing the line. Yes. So the person has to be patient. I may look the way that I look, but please, I am very much a novice. So please be patient with me. So if you don't have patience to walk the journey, it's a journey, it's not real. Brother, please use the door respectfully.
So I agreed because I'm an open book. You have to learn to read. I don't know until I get there. I don't want to try to form ogbon until we get there.
I chose strongly agree because I think we've all been in that situation where your maths teacher, they write, you be like, understand this thing now. No wahala. You're even teaching your friends in class. What? Oh yeah, now you enter exam hall. You're like, yeah, I'm not seeing this thing in my life.
What is this?
So yeah, exactly what she said. I strongly agree because yeah, as a virgin, yeah, of course I've heard so many things, but I feel like when it comes down to it, where to place leg, where to place, I
don't know.
But to be honest, I know some of these things.
inexperienced.
Some of us know some of these things. It's just until you get there. Plus, what works for you?
If you don't know, ask your friends.
Ask your friends.
I don't know where you had sex education that was very detailed.
Because
I have worked in the hospital, the family planning clinic.
different kind of exposure.
valid. You will learn on the job sometimes.
Guys are not really that complicated. Like the basics that can apply to most every guy. As long as you have sex education, I feel like you're fine. Anything that is more than the basics, regardless of whether you're a virgin or not, requires communication. My name is Halia. The reason why I decided to remain a virgin is just I want to stand out from everyone else. I'm very religious because I'm a Muslim. Religion was first mentality. When you were first told that and the Quran says that you should keep yourself, I was like, okay, it's like this religion is actually for me because I don't really want it. I live with boys and I have mostly male cousins. Even the sexual conversations that they have, I normally have it with guys. And one thing that they tell me all the time is it's not that deep. As long as you understand the basics, then you will be fine.
Okay, so now you're making it seem like the sex is just, you're talking about it from you to the guy. I'm inexperienced because I'm a virgin and I don't also understand my own and how that is meant to work in me. Even guys, you can't say guys are not complicated just because they have one thing and you just feel like, oh, it just comes up and guys are different and what ticks them is different. And also my body, understanding that, and I strongly believe that I need to learn when I get there, what's going on? My name is Zion Essien. I am a radio presenter and a content creator. I'm a virgin basically because the God I serve commands it. I'm not brainwashed about it just because God says. I see sense in it. Sex is valuable to me. It's giving my most vulnerable parts to someone, and I would like that to be my husband. It's logical and it's also majorly religious.
I didn't consider it from like the women's end. Yeah. Definitely what you read.
It's not the same.
And what goes on for you as a woman.
Yeah, it's different.
Like I said, the female reproductive system is very complicated. Everybody's experience is get as it be. But for the giving end, as long as you know the basics and you can communicate with that person, regardless of whether I'm a virgin or not, we need to talk about it. My opinion changed because I thought of it to like the receiving end. Because when we were like experienced, I was like giving. I didn't deep it as receiving. Yes, when receiving, there's no amount of articles you can read until you get there, you get there. But I feel like if you're with a partner that is patient with you, after all, he knows you're a virgin. Everybody, virgin or not, needs a partner that can be patient with them.
I sometimes question my decision of remaining a virgin.
I agreed strongly. Virginity is a virtue. That's what I was brought up with. But then these guys that outside now, are they worth it? As a virgin, if you have a man, you question yourself a lot. Like, what if this guy wakes up one day and says, I'm not interested again? Or the guys that would say, go and disvirgin yourself, then come later and blah, blah, blah. The environment you have friends that are not virgins again. Then they start to impute and talk and be like, that guy, it was this, he carried me, then you can't even say anything. You just have to like picture everything you hate. So yeah, I have questioned being a virgin like uncountable times.
I've never questioned mine. Like you now, you're relating it to the men. But for me, it's a personal decision. I'm proud of it. So if you're not willing to wait, better
emotion setting, you know.
Which emotions?
Emotion setting.
Nah.
My name is Shodipo Bolatito. I am a registered nurse. I just finished my degree. I chose to remain a virgin because of my belief and what I stand on. I'm a very emotional person. I think I've once pitied a guy. We've been together for like, I think a year. And I'm like, can't I just do this thing for this person? But then the pros and cons, and I feel like when this thing is done, I'm not going to enjoy it because I am doing it for this guy. I am not doing it for me.
I could understand her because we are all emotional beings. We have feelings. We are people of substance. So if you have somebody that you feel that you love or you are interested in and that likes you and you're developing these feelings, obviously that is also where you have to find the balance between logic and emotions. The head and the heart have to converse, because if one is technically much louder than the other, sometimes mistakes may be made. So finding that equivalent balance is very important.
Personally, I've come to the point where I strongly disagree. There were points where I had not decided on anything to inform a decision, so there was no decision to be made. In response to what you said, it's about making a decision. And it's fine if you don't want to be a virgin. I don't agree with that because I'm standing on belief. I'm standing on my Christian faith. That's why I'm a virgin.
Hi, Melody from Cruise again. And I think that the beauty of life lies in the power to make choices for yourself. Choosing what matters the most to you is as important as deciding where to send your money. And with Lemfi, you can do just that. Lemfi is a mobile app that allows users abroad to send money back home to loved ones in more than 22 countries internationally and 10 African countries. For real, Lemfi won't drain your wallet. They have crazy affordable exchange rates, plus 0 transfer fees, which means the people that you love the most can get the most out of every single transfer. I know you want to get back to the episode, so I'm not going to waste your time. Sign up using Cruise's referral code and get £5 in your Lemfi wallet. And yes, we got a code just for you guys. So why not make the best decision you can today and download Lemfi using the link in our description. Let's get back to the episode.
I think I'm the only one that disagreed, but did not strongly disagree. So the reason why I disagreed is because for me personally, I believe in exclusivity in everything relationships. I don't know, these days, you're like, okay, you can kiss your friend, it's nothing, you can hug you, blah, blah, blah. It's like everything is for everybody. The reason why I guess I didn't strongly disagree is because probably in the past I've had like doubts. I didn't really have a reason, but I do now, but then I don't know, my mind didn't go too strongly.
I chose strongly disagree. And I chose that because, like we've said, it's a personal decision. And secondly, I'm very strong for self-preservation because I'm always very forward-thinking. I have to consider the pros and cons before I engage in something. People and men, but people in general can be very finicky. So for me, it's a thing about my Christian values, my own self-belief, and also it's because I wasn't generally thinking about it. It is my older aunties, parents that actually brought it as a thing to me. So for me, I feel like self-preservation was the most important thing to me.
I choose agreed. Shodipa said earlier, is based on decision. Sorry, chill, baby. So it's not as if someone would just come out after this virgin or this stuff. My name is Jolasha Miriam. I just batched my OHND and water and sanitation technology. I still remain virgin because I believe that still keeping myself for my guy or wherever, I'm very proud of myself and still going to be.
But if I'm being honest, it's not always that straightforward.
Emotions.
And sometimes, yeah, I get your point about emotions.
Emotions
but I
is
feel
the
like,
trap that they...
Yes.
aside beliefs, aside faith, aside conviction, it's not about the other person. Like she said, like self-preservation, we should also look at the fact that there are actual male virgins out there. Like it's about your own self-preservation. This is one of the very few things that we as individuals, women, can be selfish about and stand on.
My first sense of reasoning is always logic. The cons outweighs the pros. Like if you're constantly like having sex, that moment of high, it's not good enough for the cons. Sexually active, especially, there's so many mistakes that can be made. I don't think people understand that STDs are not as funny as some.
Pregnancy,
use contraceptives. Contraceptives is not 100%. Birth control
Side
pills,
effects.
not 100%. They still have side effects too. It's like nothing is 100% except if you 100% take yourself away from the situation.
I have a lot of friends, like a lot of older friends, 27, 28. So most of them are not virgins. And when they're like talking about sex, anything sex, then I feel like left out and I can't impute. I can just like say from movies, from this, from that. So like I sometimes, why can't I just do this thing? But then I feel like I don't want to do it yet. I just don't want to.
Girl, what do you mean? Is it about them or about you? So that was really ridiculous to me. She got her balance, along the line. But at first, that was a red flag to me. Like, what are you saying?
I too also have friends that are well seasoned, if you would say. So when those conversations come up, I'm not exactly intimidated. For me, it's like learning. It's like sex 101, pen and paper. But me, myself, to engage in activity, because sometimes it's not in every room you necessarily have to contribute. You can be in that space just to learn. And even if other people are doing it, like your parents say, if you see somebody jump off bridge, you too go and jump. So the same concept generally still applies. My name is Sharon Usiade. I am into HR. I'm a corporate girly for now. I'm an aspiring baker and business owner, so watch out for me. I personally decided to keep my virginity for personal, spiritual reasons. For me, as I get older, I feel like it's more, even though it is spiritually inclined, it is more of a personal duty to myself until I happen to meet the right person, irrespective of what happens then.
Hold on a minute. If you're not subscribed to the channel, here's the perfect time for you to smash that subscribe button and like the video if you're enjoying the conversation so far. Now, let's get back to the show. My decision to remain a virgin has made dating harder for me.
I agree with you, Prance, because still being a virgin has made a relationship tougher for me. Because my boyfriend having issues, babe, it's not as if you will not see this virgin. At least you have to consider me. Oh, I'm not ready for this. If you know you can't wait afar, it's not a must.
How long have you guys been dating?
It will not last just 3 months. What is 3 years?
I beg.
It's ridiculous. And she said she's in a relationship 3 months and the man is pressuring her for sex. I feel like she needs to be more vocal and more assertive about her stance. And I don't really feel like she really has that deep-rooted understanding of why she's a virgin in the first place. Because I don't know why she's still with the person.
I just slightly disagree because I think only once, and it was not like we were in a relationship. It was just a fling and I wasn't interested in the guy. So I have not really encountered guys that really want it. I'm a party person. I love going out. I go to club. I go to lounge. I love going out. So when you see me at a club drinking, they feel like, no, you can't tell me you're a virgin. No, that's a lie. I think that's like the only thing I've like encountered.
Before I made a full decision, I was already dating with intentionality. My exes are actually amazing people. Two, not people. Even then, when it was uncertain, they were patient, there was no push. We had beautiful relationships, thankfully. But even at the point where I had made up my mind not to give it up, outside the context of marriage, I've been single since then, but it has not affected guys moving to me or me having talking stages because it is not the foundation or the building block of my relationship criteria. And I know that for a lot of women, for a lot of younger girls, it is a big factor. But at the same time, where people feel pressured or where it has affected their actual relationships, people would cheat on you even when you are not a virgin. Even when you are having sex in that relationship or whatnot, people would cheat when you are already married. I feel like this topic on many levels is about self-preservation. I mean, if you now find a partner that even like takes the same stance as you do, is honestly just going to be a blessing.
I relate to her in the sense that the relationships I've been with like very sweet, very nice, good people. The reason why I agreed, because I took it in the sense of like, okay, meeting people. I have a particular taste. Even me too, I don't even know my taste. So like, it's hard for me to like, okay, I like how you look. I want to get to know you more. So like, once I get to that obstacle, okay, we're talking. I like the way you talk. I like your views. And then I slide this, I'm a virgin and I'm not having sex, and then film. Everything changes. And it's like, that's what I struggle with. It's people that I have interest in that don't exactly align with that. They align with like literally everything else except that. And it's like, fuck.
I disagree because I'm very open about my beliefs, first of all, as a child of God. From my page already, they know. So it's like the men that are coming already know, like they must have the same values as I do. And even if they don't, they already know not to approach. So I don't think I've been having nice Christian guys in my DM steady, so it doesn't affect
That's
me.
a blessing, because even in the Christian community,
know.
they are deceitful people.
Abiyo.
We know the
Yeah,
reality.
yeah.
Sometimes they see it as a virtue, like you said, and that is why they want it.
Yeah.
Like they would do a lot of things. Someone was telling me one time about post-nut clarity, and it's a very disgusting concept. But I mean, I don't wish it on anybody, but it's real. Like it's actually real.
Okay, I chose disagree because I haven't dated much. I feel like people probably admire me from a distance, but I've been told that my aura can be very intimidating. I'm just a girl, very sweet. But a lot of people that have approached me, even without knowing my age, mind you, when I was also much younger, I've been built like this for a while. It's a thing where they just see me as a pound of flesh.
Yeah.
It's like, I see you, I like you, and I must have you. I don't agree. It hasn't personally affected my dating life at all. But then at the same time, even with people that approach me, I make it very clear that this shindig does not go anywhere until you marry. They say if you like it, you put a ring on it.
Exactly.
Yes, I agree to if you want it, you have to put a ring on it. And I know while some men can pretend to be in love with you just for that, it's like, okay, now, how long can you pretend? It's a waiting game. You wait, I wait. I'm looking at you. I feel like women give it out too easily.
I have that take because in today's modern age, it's like anything goes. Rules exist to not only keep us in check, but to also keep us safe. Eventually, when I decide or you decide or anyone decides to give up their virginity, do it under the context of this is everything that I wanted to be applied. I applied it wherever life may take me. But as long as I put myself first, I am okay with the decision that I've made and I'm happy with myself.
I went on a rant a few days ago. The whole Sky Jackson thing. If you are familiar, exactly. I went on the whole rant because what happened to you knock her up, you marry her? What happened to that? Can I please just know what happened
But
to that?
that value is not everybody's value.
Yeah.
You have to understand that people are different, whether you like it or not. In the context of if you like it, put a ring on it. Did they want a ring on it first? And you know that in the Western culture, there is this baby daddy. You are my baby daddy, though. Like, it's his trophy. Cardi B and Offset. What was his closing remark? You are my baby mama, so I won.
Someone touched on why, impregnate a woman and not marry her. It's because he has already test-driven. Why is he now marrying you in the end? Commitment is harder than knocking someone up. Put a ring on it if you want the woman, if you want all that comes with her.
So for me, I'm a believer that if you like it, you put a ring on it. What do I mean by that? Men are very simple creatures. They all read from the same textbook. So it is a thing where you will know when you have put yourself, your values, the things that you must see. As per these are not the ones that you say, okay, I can compromise here and there. The things that you must see, they are as clear as black and white. You know what they are. As you have to be logic-centric. You can that's why they say the head and the heart, they must communicate. Because when they are not communicating together, mistakes will be made. So men know if they want to marry somebody or be with somebody in 3 to 6 months. So it is a thing where you too also have to set certain boundaries for yourself. Say, at so time, we've done this shindig now for the amount of time that you prefer. Where are we going? And you will know from the status of your relationship, men are not very difficult. Even when they are trying to have multiple girlfriends, eventually the light will shine. But personally, I just feel that if you just keep your things moving, once you know yourself, any man that wants to convince you, to confuse you, is not going to last very long, especially if you are so strong about it. It is more of a commitment to have a child with somebody than to marry. So the fact that our generation has the roles reversed is where the prompt is. It's a thing where you just have to make sure that no matter what goes on in your life or in your relationships with your family, you are putting yourself first. Because only when you love yourself first can you be able to spread the love for everybody else the way you're supposed to and also see clearly.
I fear identifying as a virgin due to some African traditional religious acts.
I like to quickly go first. I've been in the last cruise show, like Virgin versus Sex Workers. And in that particular video, a segment of what I said trended on, I think, Gossip Mill. So my friends were like, drop your handle. You can get people to follow you. Then my mom pulled me aside and said, Aliyah, traditional people are there. If they catch you and they know that you are a virgin, they'll be like, And the girl that trended, oh, yeah, quickly catch her, quickly take her, quickly take her. Genuinely, we exist in harmony with tradition, basically, with our African tradition. If I say I'm not scared, I'm lying. Because I stay.
And then you came back to the show.
No.
To further portray that.
I decided to come back despite the whole traditional things because my mom wasn't opposed to me going. She was just trying to be like safety conscious. 2, I feel like my opinion should be shared regardless of, I shouldn't be afraid. 3, I feel like I'm a child of grace. Yes, bad things exist, but as long as I'm careful, then I should be fine.
I chose strongly disagree. Personally, I grew up without the whole tradition being face forward. So it was a thing where I wasn't really bothered about anything concerning culture. That one no concern me. They say the school, go to school and read your book. And even if there were very extreme traditions from my people, I believe that my parents would have shielded us from that, which is why we live the way that we live.
Yeah, I strongly disagree because just plain and simple, I don't believe in such. Call me delusional or call me naive. I just don't believe in all of that.
The reason why I am so like careful. My mom is a police officer. So exactly.
Explains
she
a lot.
Those cases on an almost daily basis. She's like, you, my daughter, it exists, it really does. Don't put yourself in that situation where they can find you.
So I chose strongly disagree. Very similar reason to what you said. Me, I believe that the blood of Jesus covers me.
Yes, one.
Simple and plain. I appreciate perspective and I actually get what you mean.
Slightly agreed. Where I grew up from, not like I see it basically, but I hear it because I grew up with my grandmother. So she tells me these things just to like, for security purpose. If you know you are this person, keep it to yourself. Even if you have to like tell people, give them the benefit of doubt. So that when they see you do another thing, they feel like, this girl was lying. But deep within me, I know that I am this person.
I slightly disagree because this has never crossed my mind of me having fear of oral stuff, traditional stuff. Let's say in our family, we didn't have the deep belief of traditional.
I've visited some areas where they will tell you, hello, you have to be here by 7 p.m. If you're not here, bro, you have to find your way. You can't come here again.
Yeah, especially
they are
on some
doing oral.
specific
So like,
days.
I have to be like, Tito, you're a virgin. Just don't go. Go and go to the hotel.
But I know about oral, but I did not even know that they
I didn't
would
even know about that. I've learned
specifically
Yes, they do.
target.
I didn't know.
Everybody has a right to be alive. You don't decide for me when I die. You don't decide how I die. You can't live without our cultures, but just some should be abolished, especially this oral of a thing. Praise your God. Do anything you want to do with your God in the middle of the night, during the day, in the morning. But don't say, I can't move when you're doing it.
Laws, regulations, you see that our constitution doesn't apply for traditionalists. It needs to apply for them. Us doing things traditionally is what sets us apart from like basically everyone else. We should keep our tradition, yes, but the laws should start applying to them. If they kill, take them to Kiriki.
I'm not saying that tradition should die, but traditional rules applying to sex, virgins, intimacy has to be abolished. First of all, whether you are a virgin or you're having intimacy, it is a private thing because there are some cultures on the day you marry, you will not have to have sex and bring out the bed sheets to show everybody.
To show the blood.
No, it's embarrassing and weird.
Do I stand on them being abolished? Yes. In reality, will they be? Probably not. If we're being objective, you cannot pick and choose part of people's beliefs. But even our fundamental right says peaceful association.
Yes.
If your association and your gathering, your religious gathering is at the detriment of someone else's freedom,
Then it should be abolished.
health, for goodness, it should be abolished. I don't even have the answer as to who would abolish the traditions. I genuinely think that our constitution was basically lifted off Western constitution and all. And even in other areas like tax, there are many loopholes, not to talk of in a society that is driven strongly by religion. There's always going to be bias because we don't even know what our stance is as a community. Society is me and you going outside. It's not them versus us. And so like the problem will always start with us and then the solution will always start with us.
Women who perform other sexual activities aside penetration but call themselves virgins are being dishonest.
Wow. It's blue tonight. Everywhere. If there was an in-between, I would have actually chosen that in-between. The thing is that if we technically saved. Your virginity is by have you broken your hymen or not? That is it. Other sexual activities, if it doesn't reach there, technically you are still a virgin. But it's like a road to something deeper. Even that one requires a lot of intimacy. Nowadays, we're like, okay, that non-sexual sex, even sex gone safe, they made it so that it's no longer intimate. That part gone safe, you can be fingered by anybody in the club. But well, I feel like it is intimate. But good. I don't know.
I'm gonna say if all of us were lined like this and maybe I knew you and I know your gist and you come and tell me, as other people are saying, and I know these people are really, really like living a holy life apart from not being penetrated, and you're coming to say, I'm a virgin. I'll be like, hey, sister. So I think, I agree with you where there's a line biologically, right?
Yeah.
What does sex mean? Wikipedia says it's like thrusting of the male organ into the female organ and the action. So biologically, on paper, you're a virgin. But your lifestyle is not right. Because they're actually non-celibate virgins. Celibacy is like not engaging in sexual activity, right? So they are virgins for mouth, but they do every other thing. But that penetration.
Another thing that I would like us to consider is, even like from personal beliefs, what are like the not criteria, like things that we've engaged in to now question, like to make us like honestly just be like, there's comma here.
Yeah.
Be honest with yourself. Like you are chatting with somebody, but like you're not exactly
something.
And then is in a way hypocritical of virgins, hypocritical of some of us. That's why sometimes it's easier to point the finger at the male counterparts. Oh, you have to wait for me, self-preservation, this and that. But like you're not even preserving, you're not even making it easier. Do you get what I'm saying?
So with the technicality of everything that is going on, we also need to remember that sex is all encompassing. It's not just physical, it is spiritual, it is emotional, it is truly cyber is all encompassing. So meaning that if you feel like, oh, I want to self-preserve, but a little hand job here and there never hurt nobody. No, because you are also telling that person that there are loopholes in your rule book. So if you can cross this line, why can't you get to this line? You can also be in a situation where you are making this person look forward to everything but they are exactly, but also with your loopholes. But then at the same time, that person is here waiting for you, but you are here compromising your own timelines. If you don't respect your own timelines, how do you want somebody else to respect you?
Well, I don't know, but I have nothing to say.
Being a virgin gives me a sense of superiority over others who aren't.
I just strongly disagree, because that you don't engage in sexual practices or fornication or misconduct, whatever you call it, doesn't make you better than the other person. You can be a supposed Christian and be the most wicked person in your home. But an unbeliever is the person that is actually exhibiting those Christian moral values, which is why sometimes people argue that morality and religion have to be in two separate brackets entirely. So I personally feel that because you have made a choice for yourself doesn't give you the right or the room to hate on another person's decision just because it's not your own.
I strongly agree. Why? Because I know myself, like deep. When I'm like alone, then I think I'm like, I'm a virgin, girl. Like, I think it's just like a way of giving me confidence. When your friends are like saying something and they feel like you can't relate, then you be like, I'm a virgin, girl. Like, can you maintain it? Can you do it? Sexually, you are still a superior. It gives me confidence. I'm serious.
The reason why I strongly disagree is because based on my mentality and views, I just don't see your sexual situation as something that should make you, me, or anybody feel superior. I feel like you're superior if you're like doing well in your career, you're superior if you're smart. There are so many things that can make me feel like one person is superior to another. Your sexual situation is not it for me.
You said your career and everything. What if the world was like going to be the opposite and virginity would be something but like maybe monetary respect in like very high regard can put you up in that career space?
If you think of how it was in the old English days, virgins actually had higher value. They had more superiority. They were the ones that were given better opportunities and stuff like that. Like even if you want to marry like a rich man, like a very, very rich man, who said that, okay, no, I want a virgin, I don't want.
That time.
Yes, it would have made you superior in that time.
I strongly disagree, to be honest. This complex superiority or inferiority is a societal construct. I think that it boils down to the reason why you're even a virgin in the first place. Some people's virginities were taken from them.
Exactly.
So they did not have the choice. So in that situation, are they supposed to feel inferior? Two, it is a personal thing. I'm a virgin whether you know or not. I'm a virgin whether anybody knows or not. I'm a first class graduate whether anybody knows or not. But I do not walk into the room like, oh, hello, I graduated with first class in biology. And, you know. For many people, it's different reasons. But for me, it is a personal decision. So it's not about how to one-up anybody in any way. I never really viewed standing on business like this. It involved a third party or even a second party to start with. When I heard the word superiority, the first thing that came to my mind was in comparison to who? And so if there are people that don't have the choice to remain the way they are, and even if they at some point they would have lost it, I mean, the choice was taken from them, then at what point do we now say this is valid, the superiority feeling is valid or it's not?
So about rape victims, it's quite unfortunate that they had to experience that. I'm not better than them. They had the intention to be pure and it was taken away from them, and that's not cool. I'm not superior, please. While I don't look at it like I'm better than anybody, because like she said, some people were taken like advantage of and lost their virginity. But now, she also mentioned that it's a personal thing. So for me, I feel that sense of pride and dignity that I've not given that aspect of me to anybody. Let's say they're talking about, oh, they've had sex and everything, and sometimes my colleagues mock me like, don't worry, she'll not know what we're talking about. I'm like, perfect. Because I know that there's nothing in this thing people are doing. I feel like they still look at me and have that level of respect for me, and I feel dignified in that regard. So shaming women for being virgins is a thing, especially now that you have podcasts saying being a virgin, okay, what do you want to use it for? Take it to the bank. How can you get married and you've not test-driven the lady? It's ridiculous, but you can't take it away. It now depends on how you handle it. You have to stand your ground, and they would eventually just deal with it. Okay, shame me, but shame on you. You're the real clown.
Superiority is mainly in the mind. It's something that, for me, is a positive thing, but it's also a way that you can make it negative, which will now make your friends or society in general harbor negative feelings against you and the concept of virginity.
Being a virgin could be an indicator that one is a good person.
Rainbow.
See, they don't they write out for face. See, even if you're a virgin, there are different reasons for you being a virgin. It doesn't indicate anything. It's just one aspect of your life. You could be a thief, but you're a virgin. You could be a bad person, but you're a virgin. I don't believe that virginity, and it could be an indicator that you're a good person or not.
Okay, I just slightly agree. And the reason why I chose that was from the point of view of like being disciplined and actually just content with where you are and who you are at that point in time. That was why I chose slightly agree. Even though I do also agree with the points that you have raised. Like you said, the right time for face is by action. For example, anybody can tell you I love you, but not everybody can prove that they love you.
I somewhat disagree. I feel like the code in the statement
Yeah, it makes it
is
confusing.
like probability. So if you say being a virgin makes you a good person, strongly disagree.
Yeah,
period.
definitely.
If you say it does not, then there's like definitive, do you understand, responses to it. But when you say could, I'm like, from what you said, it might be a pointer to someone's values. It doesn't mean that it is an indicator.
I disagree with the prompts, but they've said it all. If you are a good person, I think it's a better quality than being a virgin. It is still like mentality, because some girls, they believe that if they are with a group of people, they have to claim to be virgins, even if they are not. So they do holier than thou, basically.
I feel like there are many myths and misconceptions regarding it. I'm a virgin doesn't mean I'm blameless or a saint. It doesn't mean that I feel better than you. It doesn't even mean that I am religious. It doesn't indicate anything. And a lot of times, if they didn't even ask you, bro, like, you don't have to divulge that information. Do you understand?
I've experienced it at my workplace where they just think because you're a virgin, you're holy. Among my colleagues, when we're talking about it, and the first time I mentioned it, they were like, it's a lie. You know, you can't be, you have nose ring. So exactly that means
Exactly.
you have nose ring. Sometimes you wear a crop top, you are spoiled, right? And then the other side is they just feel like when they finally got to know, they're like, yeah, you're a good person. And I had to tell them that, see you. It's not that. It's not by that. Forget. That's one aspect of me, right? Okay, fine. That's my decision. But I'm still working hard on other aspects of my life to be a better person.
Like it or not, I feel like they would now have it at the back of their mind and be judging every other action based on
that.
I've not experienced it because I don't think I've really even divulged the information. But
Like when you hear that somebody is a virgin at a certain age, they believe that, maybe this one is stubborn. Maybe this one, there's something wrong with her.
There's something wrong with
you.
her.
And at the end of the day, like we've all agreed, whether you are virgin or you are not virgin, be a good person.
Yes, be a
Give
good
when you
person.
can. Support when you can. Support is not only financial. You can talk to somebody and give them some nuggets of wisdom, as they call it. That's why I said, when you make your virginity your identity and your entire personality, people will overanalyze and critically analyze
use
to
it
the
against
smallest
you.
atom and use it against you, which you also don't want. Even in the relationships that you're doing,
you don't have to.
You will know to a certain point
actually.
where it can now become a discussion that, okay, CEO, and if the person's attitude now changes, then you cut the rope loose and you keep things moving.
Here is an open prompt. You get to discuss any topic of your choice.
So there's this misconception that, virgins, they don't know anything. We don't know anything about sex. Some of us have fallen by the wayside. And we have gotten back up.
Exactly.
Right? And I had a colleague tell me that he feels like being a virgin is that you've not been exposed at all to any sexual thing. I said, then nobody's a virgin, because even sexual thoughts, we've had them. We've also mentioned that your lifestyle and your biological virginity should tally. So if you say you're a virgin, you may have fallen by the wayside, but it now depends on how you choose to live your life after that. Like if it tallies, like, okay, fine, you've not been penetrated, but you're also still keeping yourself. We're not saints.
when you are growing up, your mother in particular has a very important role to play in what your approach towards giving it up is or not. I grew up in a avoidance style. It wasn't talked about. So the decision was on me. And I hope that younger ones, people that don't even know what is right from wrong until you go outside to learn it. And then there are some that I've heard that they say, if a guy touches you, that means you've lost it.
Yeah.
A guy touches me and I've lost it. When a guy wants to have sex with me, I already believe that I've lost it. I feel like they can do better, to be honest. Yeah.
To see women who think the same way and who are still virgins in this time and age, it was really refreshing.
The women that were here were very intelligent, beautiful, lovely women.
In as much as the demographic was young ladies, we have different perspectives. It's even more interesting to learn things from people that you already assume that you're similar with in the first place.
I also learned about the Oro today because I've never really heard about it before.
And my biggest thing is that I can fight temptation this moment, and I can continue to do it.
My advice to everyone that is watching, beautiful people, know yourself, love yourself, make sure you always stand on business. Once you have these two things and God or to whatever supernatural power or being you pray to or believe in, make sure that you hold it dear.
Virginity is still cool, no matter how the media tries to make it look, or people try to make it look like it's obsolete, it's olden days, it doesn't matter, it does. It's a thing of value. You should hold it, in high regard.
We've come to the end of today's episode. I hope we've been able to find some understanding amongst one another.
Try your very best. Okay? We're all trying our very best. We're all trying our very best.
Love yourself, love God, and just be kind and be generous when you can. Remember, there's enough love to go around, and love is free. Thank you.
Bye, guys.
Love you.